Through deep yoga, you experience rays of the power of peace to be spreading everywhere. Thus, deep yoga is giving to others, like the sun that gives the world the experience of light. Thus, deep yoga is giving to others, like the sun that gives the world the experience of light. You give the experience of the rays of peace and light to the world. This brings the treasures of happiness, peace, powers, knowledge, virtues, and cooperation to souls who need this now more than ever. This brings the treasures of happiness, peace, powers, knowledge, virtues, and cooperation to souls who need this now more than ever. By becoming one of those who uplift others, by becoming one of those who uplift others, you automatically uplift yourselves. To engage in intense yoga is to become a world benefactor. To engage in intense yoga is to become a world benefactor. Om Shanti.
I emerge the stage of lighthouse and mighthouse. I bring the awareness of my eternal self, complete stage, stage in which I am full and master bestower. Baba is the one who is bestower, but I as instrument become bestower. So as a sparkling point of light, and that lightness of total freedom from the bondage, I spread the light to all the souls of the world, but special Sakash to all the souls who need power to overcome their obstacles or difficulties. So as lighthouse and lighthouse, as great donor, thoughts of blessings for everyone, I cooperate in God's task to create the energy of love, peace, joy, so that transformation of the world from land of sorrow to land of happiness can happen very fast. So in this stage of lighthouse and white house, I remain very stable, firm, and serve the world with light and power. So we take Drishti from Baba.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vyakti Parivar. Today is day 24. Soul consciousness, a drop of awareness 5 times a day. Natural dharana, constant and continuous. Victorious over old sanskars and over sense organs. Now we'll be listening to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. We listen, then we have churning, reflection, and then we make it happen or in practical. Two words, natural and consistent, are very powerful words. So how do I become natural and consistent? Which power is required? Which virtue is required? And then how it will help us to create new sanskars where we will be consistent and natural. Let us think about that Brahma Baba, 33 years, every morning was ready for Shiv Baba in time, 6 o'clock in the morning, for God to use his chariot. 33 years every morning. Consistent. Even few days, as you all heard, his body was not well. But he knew that children will be waiting for Murli. They could say it, read it again, say Murli's. No, Baba wrote Murli. And at the right time, it was sent to all the centers. We think about Dadi Gulzar. For 40 plus years, made her chariot available for Avek Babdada to use her chariot. In the beginning was alternate day every day, then once in a week, or whenever then there was a plan. She was consistent because there could always be obstacles in being consistent. When I see the souls, even in their routine duties, when they are consistent, my heart says God bless them so that they can remain consistent. Because in today's world, if you look at an Iron Age world, nothing is consistent. And for that, of course, we have to pay attention that internally I remain consistent in my efforts. One of the specialty in all dadis, but Dadi Janki was that she never missed one, even single Amrit Vela. Every morning she will lift her body, practically lift her body because it was not good in the morning, and she will make it sit in Baba's room in London. And now, of course, Baba's room was next to her bedroom. She was consistent. And we can see there must be some blessings that all of us in a Vyakti Parivar, how it happened, but must be Baba's blessings that every evening now, for almost 10 months, 11th month, we have been able to be consistent. I think Baba wants us to give us all powers and experience that what is the benefit to be consistent. Offering bhog to Baba every day, cooking food with purity, pure hands, or those who live in purity. I hear the stories of many old mothers that their bodies are not well. But one thing they always tell me, oh, I'm still able to cook and offer food to Baba and feed the body. That means they are able to maintain that principle consistently. And when there is a thought, determination that I will always eat sattvic food, the blessing from Baba with our determination will help you or provide you sattvic food offered to Baba, and you will eat until the last moment soul is in the body. So it made me think, Lord, what makes something consistent where obstacles do come? Sometimes mind, sometimes body, sometimes situation, different obstacles come. But how I could overcome those obstacles? Listening to Murli, consistent. So when we think about consistent, and then it becomes natural too. Because all karmas we do in the past in body consciousness have created sanskars within us. And sanskar has influence on mind intellect. So when there is influence of sanskar on the mind, then subtle energies, we do not get angry, but maybe in subtle way, I'm not happy with something, I'm upset about something. See, very, very subtly, it affects the mind. Reminding oneself that I have to be consistent, I have to be peaceful, consistent in peace. Like some people do fasting. So in between they get hungry. They say, no, I have to do fasting. So same is with the thoughts, not allowing the influence of any negativity or waste from the sanskars. Some things emerge from within and some things through my sense organs. If I see something, if I hear something, then it awakens those sanskars from the past. So that is why there is also influence of sanskars on our organs of the body. I was, like sometimes you eating something, let's say, and after long time you are eating something and then you remember, oh, when I was young, that's what I used to love to eat. So how can that taste remain in your mouth? Because you ate, right? But that taste emerges, must be from sanskar, right? And you start enjoying it again. So it's through the sense organs, right? We eat and, oh, when I was young, I used to love to eat that. Just imagine after 50 years, 40 years, your taste could emerge because it's in the sanskars. Hmm. So we still have to eat, we still have to do what we have to do, but when we are detached, while eating or in remembrance we are eating, we will not create the sanskar. Sanskar where my organs are pulling me to do something. Thought will come. It's in the thoughts emerge from sanskar. And then we give reasoning also to prove that these thoughts are correct, are okay. We call that as kind of stubbornness, sanskar. So in body consciousness, because in body consciousness, the soul is so attached with the actions. Thus, awareness of body consciousness, worldly habits, is a big transformation in soul consciousness, in remembrance of our being detached like lotus, and then doing sanskars and doing actions, use of sense organs. It will give very good experience, plus no bondage will be created of karmas. So to be consistent and not influenced by my sanskars, but also creating, emerging my original sanskars, and that will be natural. Everyone these days, everything they want natural, right? Natural food, natural clean air, water. Mhm. So in the same way, emerging my original sanskars mhm, will help me to make everything natural and easy. Baba always say natural and easy. So tomorrow what we will look at the influence of sanskars and you will catch them. Oh, I'm thinking this because that's how I had been thinking. So it's from sanskar. So take a moment, pause, remember Baba, or think of your original form, and then see what you're thinking. So am I thinking because of sanskar, or I am creating sanskars or thoughts based on my original stage or eternal stage? Eternal stage is very good stage to create, to settle very subtle conflicts between the soul, very subtle. Anywhere because of any reason, if conflicts continue for a long time and we don't find any solution because it's a vicious circle. Action, reaction, then action. But if I am thinking and doing actions in the awareness of my eternal self, then past stops, settled, and new beginning. Otherwise, that situation or the problem, in whatever way amongst the souls, can keep continuing. And one of the reason is some subtle karmic accounts are there. So we try to fix it, we try to again fix it, doesn't get fixed. I've tried with many souls. Just have emerge your eternal state. And this time Baba gave us 4 points, right? Which I really use it a lot. Elevated good wishes for everyone, pure feelings for everyone, Shubh Bhavna, Shubh Kamna, an elevated attitude because attitude is so subtle. We hold on deeply within. Okay, I've changed, I won't say it, I won't see it. But then something emerges because you are holding something in your vritti, attitude. This one is like that. This one always does like that. I want that person to change, but I'm holding that this one is like this. So I'm not allowing that person to change. It's very interesting, very subtle. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't be like this. And then I say, she's anyway like this. So attitude is not elevated. No, she's changing, becoming elevated, getting better and better. Not go back in what happened 3 days ago or 10 days ago. Just attitude. A lot of want to, what is attitude? I said, In attitude, you hold the image of that person. Elevated means look at that soul in that complete stage, not what that soul is today or was few days ago. So we bring back the past instead of looking at what Baba looks at each one of us is in our complete and perfect state. Elevated attitude, and Baba said, elevated atmosphere. That means my vibrations then towards the soul are so beautiful that those vibrations makes that soul realize and transform. I mean, that's what Baba does to us. Our ancestor souls, dadis, how they helped us to transform is their elevated attitude and then creating that elevated atmosphere where I could really feel, who am I? Otherwise, my vibrations are not helping that soul to feel that transformation. I look at the soul. Yes, there is so much change. You are so much better. You're really progressing. You will, we all will become complete. We are all on journey. And look back, yes, I also went through all the stages on journey. So I'd been lot churning on what is elevated attitude and elevated atmosphere. What atmosphere do I create? Is through vibrations. And vibrations of attitude, not visible but very powerful. Vibrations of thoughts, but then vibration of attitude are very, very strong. This one will do that. I shouldn't do, but I already created that energy. Now I realize more and more what it means when Baba says elevated attitude. So we have to practically go deep within and watch, observe that sanskars are not governing, directing my thoughts or attitude. It's not sanskars, but it's the awareness which I'm creating. Awareness in soul consciousness, awareness that every soul is on journey towards perfection, completeness. Some are faster in some subjects, some area, and some in other areas, but everyone is on journey and travels few miles further every day. But because my attitude is such, I'm not able to experience, feel it, or create an atmosphere for soul to be more encouraged. So it's something subtle, but we are working on subtle aspect of not being influenced by sanskars, because sanskars create bondage and many influences. So it's like deeply within I become observer of my own self. I'm sakshi of my own self, where I am seeing what is the influence on thoughts, how do my intellect influenced by sanskars, or attitude influenced by sanskars. And more we realize the transformation which happens. Because if I have to be complete, then I cannot just live by influence of old sanskars. And that is why creating, Baba keeps saying pure and elevated. Pure, elevated, auspicious. So more we create that awareness, and then our thoughts will change, our reasoning, our intellect will work in a different way. An attitude very, very clean and of goodwill. And then, of course, finally, the energy which I create, my presence create, is of love, of harmony, very, very clean. So subtle obstacles created from the sanskars of influence can be removed. Because otherwise we cannot be consistent then. Today I do it, tomorrow I don't know, day after is different. So that natural and consistent in a subtle way for efforts, but also for my actions. I have to offer bhog. It's not whenever I feel like offering. Sometimes I feel like, sometimes I don't want to, because today my mood is not good. Mood is like weather, right? Climate. Baba says in golden age there will only be spring. So same is internally, we have to create this spring within where natural, nature and consistent without any influence on our sense organs or doing something because it's a bondage. I'm like, I don't want to do, but I'm kind of just do it still. Like someone said, oh, I said it. My intention was not like that. But also it's a habit, isn't it? Intentions can be good, but habit means sanskar. Any habit of anything, even if you don't want it and you do it, is a bondage, no? So bondage of sanskars, we have to be liberated to experience golden age and Jivan Mukti life. Golden age, Jivan Mukti means liberated life towards the end of confluencing, because this is our first birth, right? So this freedom from the bondage of sanskars, mukt, liberated. Otherwise something is holding you, doesn't allow you to transform or move forward. So there's just a lot of work, but it's easy because we are already on journey and we have done a lot, right? It's just the last part of seeing that I am not driven by sanskars, but from my stage, complete state, complete stage I am driven with. That's why Baba gives us the practice of 5 forms still. You can think a little bit more about it and experience and practice to be consistent. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Good evening. It's one of those times I think we need to stop for a minute or two, take a deep breath, and inhale what we've just heard, right? Sister Mohini said, think about it a little bit. I think we have to think about it a lot. And especially the way she concluded saying that we have done a lot. And I'm just looking at myself. I don't know if I've done a lot, but there's so much clarity in what we just heard and what really Baba is doing with us and what he wants us to do with our practice. So yes, we are on that final stage of Nyara Pyara, the fourth one, becoming Nyara from our own sanskars. We of course dealt with the body, the relations of the body, the possessions of the body, and those are all big, gross, material things, right? And now it is about being Nyara from what is right inside the soul, what the soul has been carrying and identifying with, and all these years, all these ages. So really, really subtle work. And of course, feeling very, very grateful that Baba has shown us the exact steps, and we are being reminded of that. And especially today tomorrow being the day that we are going to be looking at our consistency, right? And I was particularly thankful, Baba has given us these principles and lifestyles, which we call. But the more we adopt those principles as personal principles, of course they are Brahmin principles, they are spiritual principles. How much have I taken them on as my own personal principle in life? I was feeling that that's a big part of our consistency too, right? And of course, Brahma Baba, Dadi Gulzar, Dadi Janki, we have so many examples that Sister Muni shared that are before us, but it was very, very natural for them. I mean, what we saw was natural. I don't think there was a lot of effort there involved, but yes, there was a lot of consistency also in a very natural way. So we heard that determination is a key quality for bringing that consistency. It brings blessings from Baba so that we can overcome the obstacles that stand in our way. But also very, very clear practice, several clear practices today, actually, to become consistent. Or what are we becoming consistent in is the practices again. So yes, one is to sit and practice the different stages, the 5 forms. But I particularly liked this aspect of while being in action, making sure we are soul conscious, we are detached, untouched, and most importantly, in Baba's remembrance. And this is what actually helps us to overcome the influences on our thoughts from our sanskars. Those that have been left as influences because of the same type of quality of thinking, we have to now reverse it, we have to cancel it. And so that can only happen through the soul conscious stage, remembrance of Baba. So again, underlining that. And the tip is to really emerge eternal and also original sanskars. Take a moment to pause, remember and then emerge that original form and ask yourself, how am I thinking? Am I thinking based on my eternal original sanskars, or am I thinking based on my past sanskars of body consciousness? So some deep work there to do. And a very, very lovely tip we got today to settle conflicts. Right? Very good to settle conflicts is your eternal stage. The more we practice our stage, the easier it becomes to settle those conflicts and difference of sanskars. And so that's going to be an ongoing thing for us. I don't think it's an overnight job, but it's a very good tip, I thought. And what a sharing also on attitude, and to really check myself and say that I want the other person to change, but I, through my own attitude of saying this person is like this, I am not allowing the other person to change. So very funny, but that's what we do sometimes. And vibrations that we create through that attitude, the atmosphere that goes out. And again, whether it helps the person to kind of strengthen the old sanskar or create new ones, really making sure that our vibrations, our atmosphere creates an environment in which the soul can realize and feel who I am. And again, I'm thinking that this is that natural realization that Baba talks about, that we are helping each other to realize. And it's very beautiful. Again, a question to ask: what is governing my thoughts? What is governing my attitude? Is it sanskars, or it is my awareness now that I have learned? The awareness that we're all making effort, everybody's doing their best, we're all going to make it, right? So being an observer of my own self, of my own inside, thoughts, the world of thoughts, and being very honest about it. And finally, the energy of my own presence. What kind of energy am I creating through my own presence? It's very, very interesting. I thought that energy, which we're not even aware of sometimes, that we carry with us, that's what brings on obstacles. We think we've done it all, we've cleared it all, but the energy is still lingering around. So how much we have to create this new pure energy, really let go of the past to do that. So today I think we got the real meaning of what is bondage and what is freedom from that bondage, especially the subtle bondage. And this is something Baba refers to as Jivan Mukti in a second. If there is true realization or true practice, and then realization through that practice, I think there's going to be lots of these seconds of Jivan Mukti tomorrow that we can experience. So let's have the practice slide. I am a living being of light, seated on my lotus throne. My self, Swa, is elevated. My bhav, intention, is clean. My swabhav, nature, is completely free from bondages of my old sanskars and sense organs. That's what the sanskars act through, the sense organs. I am victorious in transforming my sanskars and in overcoming the influences on my nature. I'll read that again. I am a living being of light, Seated on my lotus throne, my self, swa, is elevated. My bhav, intention, is clean. My swabhav, nature, is completely free from bondages of my old sanskars and sense organs. I am victorious in transforming my sanskars and in overcoming the influences on my nature, which are all, of course, very, very subtle. So there's going to be quite a lot of deep work tomorrow within those drops of awareness. I think there's going to be a lot of hidden jewels for everyone, personal jewels and personal victories also, right? So,
Actually, all the rubbish have been removed and thrown out, but the last, what dust is there, whatever stains are there, in the attitude, they have to be removed and liberated from. So, yes, we could say a lot of work, or we could say we have done a lot, as I said, because no one is carrying any rubbish or negativity, but still very subtly, even just to say, this one is anyway like that. So, but we expecting that person to change and be better, but I'm already saying it. So my attitude and then my drishti, right, towards that person will be that, oh, she's not going to change anyway. She's stubborn anyway. So it's like projecting that, and that atmosphere, energy, as I said, sometimes is not for the well-being of, as a family, you know. So I think that if we keep an elevated attitude towards everyone, and knowing that yes, everyone has different bondages from sanskars, but I shouldn't hold that in my, because that is blockage for me now, because that is not good for my own self. So holding or keeping this very, very subtle thoughts towards anyone. Oh, as soon as you say anything, but that one has to change. That one has, its reaction always is so strong, and not knowing that, so appreciating, looking at the specialities, looking at the good qualities, because everyone has such a important and part to play in Baba's Yagya, and they are playing their part. But I want that one to play a part in a particular way, but that won't happen, right? So I focus on my own transformation, and keeping elevated attitude will be very charitable action or charitable subtle vibrations to help yagya, so that others can also able to move forward. Okay, Om Shanti.
you also liked very much the aim that you've given us to create a spring inside, atmosphere of spring inside, spring now. So not changing modes, but the same beautiful, loving, harmonious feelings inside of being in spring, eternal spring. It's very nice.
Chalo.
Welcome to a Vyakti Journey Family Time, emerging the fragrance of Sakar days.
वचन पुछत करते 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 सिमर 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 सुख पाओ। माता पिता और बाप दादा का याद प्यार और गुड नाइट। गुड नाइट।
Om Shanti. Good night, everyone.